A parent's love knows no bounds, but what if the child is one of America's most infamous monsters? Among the most notorious serial killers in living memory, Jeffrey Dahmer's deeds shocked the world after his arrest in 1991. Dahmer was convicted of killing 17 men and boys, murders he committed between 1978 and his capture. The unending trauma of the victims' families aside, how did Dahmer's own closest family try to process everything he did? What did Lionel and Joyce Dahmer have to say on the matter after their son's arrest, imprisonment, and murder, as they too sought to comprehend it? Dahmer was born in Milwaukee in May 1960. He was a bright and busy young boy until a routine operation for a double hernia seemed to change something inside him. He grew quieter and more isolated, and tensions between his parents, who divorced during his teenage years, could have contributed to his troubles. In a 2004 interview with Larry King, Lionel Dahmer was asked whether he noticed anything foreboding about his son. At around 12 years old, Lionel explained Dahmer began collecting dead animals he found on the roadside. His parents knew nothing about this, but Lionel said,
if I had known about the roadkill, that would have been a red flag. I would have done something immediately.
Prior to the age of 12, Lionel claimed he would have deemed Jeffrey a normal boy, if extremely shy. Hoping to give advice to other parents, Lionel continued,
"Don't disregard shyness. Things can be fomenting in that young mind. Dig."
The picture appears to be that of a regretful father who was possibly too preoccupied to notice the changes coming over his troubled son. The Dahmers gave their interview to try to help parents in similar situations. Jeffrey's stepmother, Sherry, expanded on that in the interview, saying, "Anything that we could do to circumvent or prevent another Jeff would be a blessing." Sherry explained that she met Jeffrey Dahmer when he was 18, and they shared a cordial if distant relationship. His birth mother, Joyce, moved to California after she and Lionel's divorce, but made the flight to visit Dahmer several times while he was incarcerated. In an interview with Hard Copy, Joyce called her son a victim of a compulsion. Joyce maintained that she had been a good mother and that,
I knew this had to come from something outside of Jeff.
She said that it was a societal problem that people blame the mothers when their children become killers, and insisted there is something to be learned from the situation. Joyce said though Jeffrey's story was unusual, she realized every murderer has parents and extended family who must anguish over the deeds of their loved one. Joyce, who was a certified counselor, also said she was bothered that Jeffrey wasn't receiving any kind of psychological therapy in prison, nor was anyone coming in to study him to see what drove him to do such unthinkable acts.
He's not a monster, he's a human being. And I think he deserves some help.
Still, the pain of knowing the horrors her son had done, as well as the backlash from the public, eventually drove Joyce to attempt to take her own life. At one point, a new boss at her job reportedly forced her to remove her son's photo from her desk. When Jeffrey Dahmer was beaten to death in prison by inmate Christopher Scarver in November 1994, a distraught Joyce demanded, "I always asked if he was safe. Now is everyone happy? Now that he's bludgeoned to death, is that good enough for everyone?" Joyce Dahmer died of breast cancer in 2000. As of September 2022, Lionel Dahmer is living in Ohio with his wife Sherry. In a 1994 tandem interview with Jeffrey and Lionel Dahmer, Lionel told Stone Phillips,
"Naive parent in me still says I see an innocent, shy child."